Assalamualaikum everyone. It's me Rifa, your regular host from Team Bertho, back here again with another episode of Ichi-go Ichi-e, and this is episode number 13. So, like any other time here in this episode, we're going to discuss about the present insights about growth, self-improvement, developing skills, along with many more. This show is brought to you by Team Bertho and Yes Girls Movement and Bangladesh Girls Guide. As I've said before in my other live sessions, the presence of our regular viewers will always be appreciated, along with the ones who are joining right now. And I hope you find this session worth sticking around with. So, if there is any question regarding from your end, why am I wearing orange right now? Well, it's basically because it is 16 days of activism against gender based violence. This is basically a global campaign that kicks off annually on the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, and it runs till December 10, which is the Human Rights Day. And the topic for today's discussion would be mental health and stigma, and I'm sure as of now you're quite familiar with that. And I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to our speaker of our show, and her name's Elle Seline. She's basically a singer-songwriter, a mental health worker, and model based in Surrey, UK. And it is basically amazing to know that her music has attracted not only national but international press as well, and gained airtime on BBC iPlayer along with BBC Radio. She uses this platform to raise awareness of current issues and stigma surrounding complex mental health diagnosis and bullying. In the year 2021, she made history as the first woman to compete in Miss Great Britain, make a free and win title. So without any further delay, please welcome Elle Seline. Hello.
Hi everyone, hello. I haven't got anything orange on, but I've got my orange ball, which is my cat toys, and some orange juice to show my appreciation for today. It's very important cause, but I don't have anything orange to wear, but I've got this that I've been carrying with me today.
Sure, I think I'm good to go. So, Elle, we want you to share about your your side story for this mental health and stigma.
Sure, absolutely. I've got a presentation for everyone. Hi, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever in the world you are from today. My name is Elle Seline. Rifa did an amazing job at introducing me, and I don't think I can top that. So I'm going to go straight in. So my talk today is about mental health and stigma. And what that means is the stigma around. So where mental health is very much talked about, there are still things that need to be done, conversations that need to be had to eradicate this stigma around women and men and everybody. There is still an issue at the moment in the world. And for myself, I pride myself as someone who tries very hard to eradicate that stigma by discussing my story openly and unapologetically. So if I can get my slides up, please. I've got some slides that are coming. There we are. Thank you. So my name is Elle Seline, and I'm going to be talking to you a bit about mental health and stigma. So when you look at me, a lot of people have said to me before, well, you don't look like someone with mental health issues. You don't look like someone who's got a lot of problems. Rest assured, I think everyone has their own battles, and I do too. and I want you, when you're starting to listen to this talk, I want you to think about when you hear the words mental health, I want you just to think very carefully what those words mean to you and what you think about visually when you think about those words. And I want you to hold on to that. And I'm going to ask you again at the end of the chat about what you think as well. And I want to see if that changes for you or not. So next slide, please. I was brought up on the Greek island of Skiathos in Greece, and I was raised there by my mum and my dad, and I also had a brother there. The scenery, as you can see, was idyllic, and I had a great childhood enjoying the beach and enjoying the little things in life. As a child, I didn't have many worries. Next slide, please. As you can see, not many worries at this point. I had a very privileged childhood, which was very nice. Next slide, please. Animals and music was always something that was very close to my heart. It was always something that I felt connected with. I have 2 cats now, and I still am doing music. As Rifa mentioned in her introduction, I'm doing a lot of music live and online. If you'd like to give us the next slide, please. So when I was 10, I moved to the UK to attend boarding school. This is kind of where everything changed for me. So earlier in my life, I was well looked after with my parents. I lived at home and I had a great time. When I moved to the UK, a lot of things changed. I was bullied for having darker skin and hairier features. And I was also bullied for my hair because it was very fluffy, very thick, and also for my mannerisms. So I always felt different. I always knew I was different. But when I was a child, I didn't know how to tell people that I felt different or tell people that I was not okay. So I acted out in class, and that was because I needed help. I needed support. And I was being bullied and I was being abused by my peers, and there was nobody there to help me as my parents were in a different country. This I found very difficult. Yes, I might be smiling in that picture, but guaranteed I was not having a great time. I was hiding behind things. Mental health back then in 2000, 2001 was very much not spoken about. So there was not much I could do around that at all. And I felt very by myself, very ostracized from my peers. And after being bullied, I repeated a lot of the things the bully said, and that really did affect my self-esteem. Next slide, please. I've always felt different, as I said before, and this is because I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder when I was 29. But before the diagnosis, I was navigating by myself without any support and without any help. So I didn't know that I had borderline personality disorder when I was this young. And growing up as a neurodiverse person in a very different world was very hard. As I said, I was bullied, I was ostracized, I was left kind of to deal with it myself. And in turn, I acted out in class and I didn't have many friends because I didn't know how to make friends. Next slide. There's me enjoying an ice cream. Next slide. So when I was 18, I moved to the UK. After I had quite a hard time at school, I was actually asked to leave school, so I didn't finish my education, but I was able to get a place at the Academy of Contemporary Music in Guildford, which is in Surrey, which is where I am now. And I have to say I'm very grateful for this part of my life. I'm very grateful for it because this is where I started to find out who I was. When I was in school, I didn't know who I was. No one was telling me who I should be. But when I moved to Guildford, I found actually that there was other people like me. And in the music world, as you might know, we are quite misfit. We are quite different to the majority of the general public. So I definitely found my tribe and the people that I felt very comfortable with. And I slowly started to find myself as well. Next slide, please. There I am with all my friends in the UK in music school. Next slide, please. When I was at ACM, when I was at the Academy of Music, I started to get an eating disorder. And that's because all the things that the bullies were telling me about body image, about how I looked and about how I should act, it came with me into adulthood and into teen years. So I was suffering, even though I found my tribe and I found the people I should be around, I was still suffering from the impact of the bullying. And again, due to mental health not being discussed even then, even in early 2000, middle 2000, it was very hard for me to navigate this. And I did have an eating disorder for quite a while, actually, from 19 till about 25 years old. I had anorexia, and I wasn't looking after myself. And that was because I wanted to access the control that I'd lost with all the bullying and the abuse that I'd enjoyed in school. And that was the only way I felt that I knew how to do it. Next slide, please. I also got a job in retail. So that later down the line, I got help for my eating disorder. I got support. But as you can imagine, I did also get stigmatized for it. There's a lot of things happen when you're presenting in a certain way. There's a lot of things that happened to me when I was presenting in a certain way. I did get help, but it took a long time to get that help. And during that time, I was rejected from a lot of jobs. I was rejected from a lot of things because people found out I had mental health issues, and then they didn't believe that I could do the job that I was very qualified to do, or didn't believe I could carry out my music duties because of how I looked, because I was unwell. And that took a big toll on me as well. But I did get a job in retail, and I have to say it was a very good time of my life. If you are a young person and you're listening tonight, always know that there is a plan B when you finish school. It might not look like the plan you wanted, but there is definitely a plan out there for all of us. So please don't worry if you're comparing yourself to someone else. There is a plan out there for you. Next slide, please. I was in retail for quite a long time, and alongside that time, I did perform at some amazing concerts. I performed at London Pride. I performed at Always the Sun Festival, which is a local festival here. And as Rifa said earlier in the chat, my music has been played and has been featured on a lot of different TV and adverts, which is amazing for me. I'm a musician by myself. I'm not signed to anyone. I'm managing this myself. And I think part of the reason why I'm so passionate about what I do is because I do have mental health issues. One of the symptoms of BPD is empathy. And in the media, we only hear about the bad things about mental health issues. We don't hear about the good. And I'm here to tell you a bit about that later on as well, a little bit more about that. Next slide, please. One of my songs has also been featured in HMV. For those who don't know, it's a big record store in the UK, probably in America as well, I'm not sure. And it's big, it's a big store. So for me, that was a really big deal. Again, I've done all of this on the back of myself with mental health issues. So I'm someone who likes to prove that even if you do have a mental health difficulty, you can still do the things that you want to do in life. Next slide, please. Another thing I do at the moment is I always pride myself as someone who wants to change the way society looks at women, changes the way society looks at body image. Something I always do on my Facebook and my Instagram is showcase that. Again, with BPD, I have been stigmatized. With the way I look, I have been stigmatized. And I want to show to people, actually, everyone is okay as they are. Everyone is unique, and that is a beautiful thing. And I think perfection is an illusion, and I don't believe that we should be striving for perfect. I think flaws are a beautiful thing, and I think we should be discussing differences and talking about inclusion, talking about diversity more, definitely on these platforms as well. Next slide, please. On my Facebook and social media, I'm always very honest about how I feel. BPD is a very difficult illness to deal with. It's a complex mental health disorder, and that stems normally from childhood trauma. And one of the things I always try and do on my platform is I'm honest. When I was younger, I wasn't so honest on my social media. I would always show the fake and the false and me happy and always doing well. But actually, more recently than ever, I'm trying really hard to show actually I am a human, and as I said before, we all have our own struggles. And the more people show these on social media, the more people show that actually we are all struggling. We are all fighting this battle. Then maybe in the next generation, we won't have all these issues that we have now. I think we've come a long way, but I do think we do have some way to go still. Next slide, please. I work for a mental health charity as well now, which is absolutely amazing. Talking of mental health stigma in jobs, a lot of jobs I've had before have not assumed that I can do the job because of my mental health difficulties. I've never always been honest about my mental health. And sometimes when I have been, they've gone, oh, actually, maybe you shouldn't be doing this, or maybe this is too much for you. And I'm thinking, well, maybe not. Maybe I just have passion. Maybe I have a lot of enthusiasm because of my mental health. And again, like I said, people assume the negative before even getting to know the positive. And one of the things that my current work, which is called Catalyst, do is they allow me to use that platform as my role, but also they allow me to speak about mental health openly. I've written blogs for them. I've done events for them where I talk openly to mental health professionals about mental health difficulties. And with someone with lived experience, who better to know where to help, how to help people and who better to know how to support people, because I'm living it. I'm dealing with it currently. I'm still in trauma therapy currently at the moment for my trauma as a child. And I'm learning, as I'm learning, part of my therapy and part of my growth is helping other people through blogs, through social media, through everything that I'm doing. Next slide, please. Another thing I do have is a blog online, which is called Change Your Stars. Change Your Stars was something I always told myself when I was at school. So I will change my stars. I will make something of myself. I will be someone. A lot of teachers and a lot of my peers didn't think I would make anything of my life. And one of the things I would always say to them is I'll change my stars. So these pictures and these quotes are things that got me through school. And I've put them online to help other people, again, with stigma, with mental health difficulties, but just even someone in school who is struggling today can read through those and maybe relate to those. Next slide, please. This is my favorite quote from that. Oh, sorry. Oh, we've had a technical difficulty, ladies and gents. That's all good. This happens. Thank you. So this is one of the quotes that I do live by, that I have mental health issues. My mental health issues don't have me. And it's true. My mental health issues don't define who I am. I define who I am. And everybody's so different that people with BPD can present in very different ways. There are 265 different combinations of the diagnosis. So where someone might have the same diagnosis as me, we don't present the same way at all. And I think that's very important, especially in this day and age, to remember with stigma and with moving forward around that. Next slide, please. One of the highlights of my career was speaking at the Mental Health Blog Awards in the United Kingdom. I spoke about BPD and stigma, very much like this. It was more in depth. It was more about the symptoms and more clinical stuff, but it was definitely something that benefited people in the audience, as it was full of mental health professionals. And a lot of mental health professionals, they are scared of BPD. They don't know how to sometimes deal with it. Even if they're a professional, it can be sometimes quite hard. So having someone like me with lived experience telling them, actually, look at everything I've achieved with this diagnosis, it is possible. I'm not saying that recovery is amazing and it's going to work every time and it's going to work like clockwork. Of course it's not. Recovery isn't linear, but it's definitely something that we can go forward with and we can do in our own way. Next slide, please. So very recently in 2021, I took upon a challenge with Miss Great Britain. I competed with makeup free. I did a no makeup stance, and the reason why was for bodily choice for women and men, to remember that they can do what they want with their bodies and remember that their bodies are theirs. And the reason I chose such a controversial platform was because it was going to get heard. It would be heard and remembered, and we're talking about it this year, and it was a year ago that I did it. So you can see why one of the reasons I chose this platform, and I actually won a title on the back of this. And from this, I've gone into schools to talk about bullying. I've talked about my story on so many news outlets. Next slide, please. Steph's Packed Lunch is a program in the UK, and they got me on the telly, and all the women on the show got their makeup off in person, on air, live. They all took their makeup off, and it was amazing because it was such a solidarity stance. And for me as well, it was remembering that we are all in this together, and it's not okay for women to be just, to be condemned for what they're wearing, for what they're looking like. And because I went through this at school, and I was told throughout my whole life, pretty much, you must look like this, you must be this, you must be this. I thought there's going to be other women out there that feel like this, that understand this stance. And one of the reasons I did it was to help other people as well as help my own journey, and it definitely did help other people. A lot of parents were coming to me saying, thank you for letting my children know that it's okay for them to be themselves. And that for me was better than any title or any music or anything that I could have had, because it's those kids that need the help today that I did this for too. Next slide, please. More publications that I was in as well, which again was an amazing time for me, but also it was a very important time as well. Next slide, please. BBC News, again, very amazing achievement, but also it needed to happen, it needed to come out, and it needed to be discussed on these platforms. To have these conversations today, even the one I'm having with you today, is relatable to this. Next slide, please. I went back to my old school as well. So I went back to the school just before I was competing in Miss Great Britain, and I stood in the same place as you can see. And this picture to me means so much because it's reminding myself, that kid that I once was, that recovery is possible, and that, again, whatever anyone said to me when I was that age, it didn't matter because I still got where I needed to go. I didn't get there like the other kids. No, I took my own path, but I got there and I succeeded, and I did some amazing things along the way. That picture is probably one of my favorite pictures I've ever had taken of me, actually. Next slide, please. This is me on the Miss Great Britain stage, just before winning the title, Miss Great Britain Publicity. And again, I'm so proud of myself for being able to do this. And again, it was not just about me, it was about other people too. And yeah, that kid that I once was very proud of me, and still is, because I'm doing so much more on the back of that still. Next slide, please. There's me winning the title, which again, I'm very proud of that moment. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So one more thing I'm doing at the moment is I'm working with someone actually in Parliament in the United Kingdom about body image. So on the back of the Miss Great Britain stance, on the back of the competition, I've got involved in Parliament. I've been into Parliament in London, which was amazing. And one of the things I'm doing is I'm helping this gentleman with his campaign to recognise body image. So all the digitally distorted images on social media, all the adverts that we see, they shouldn't be altered? And if they are, they need to be telling us that they are, because again, it is about this body image. It's about how we feel about ourselves seeing these images. Lots of young people are exposed to social media, they're exposed to these images, and when you're younger, you might not have a good sense of reality because you're young, you're a child, you're innocent, and these images need to disclose, like anything, that this is not reality, this is not real life. And even for me, even sometimes now, it's so difficult to not get transfixed into this world and to not get taken in hostage into this world. And I think it's very important for the next generation, for this generation now, to work hard to stop this. So if you are listening and you want to listen more about this campaign, it's Dr. Luke Evans. He's on Instagram, he's on Twitter, he's on Facebook, and it's Recognise Body Image. Do sign the pledge, do get involved if you'd like. The more the merrier, please do. And let's try and change this together. Next slide, please. More work that I'm doing around filters. Filters are also very important. Again, being someone with BPD, I have quite a warped sense of self. I know you can't tell because I present very well and I like to I like to present very well, but sometimes even I struggle with this. So me doing all this work is part of my healing journey as well. It's all part of that. It's all connected into this. And this is something, again, I used to use filters a lot. I used to wear loads of makeup. I used to hide behind this mask. And then during lockdown, I found actually that there was no pressure to go out. There was no pressure to show up. And as a woman, I think we did feel that pressure. We do still feel that pressure to wear makeup, to look a certain way. And I felt it a lot, especially as a musician, as a performer. I felt like if I didn't wear makeup on stage, I wouldn't be accepted and I wouldn't do a good performance. But actually, I can do a good performance regardless without makeup. It's me that's the singer, not the makeup. and this is part of this. This is part of the symbolism behind this picture as well. Next slide, please. Very recently, I've also become an ambassador for Awareness Ties. The gentleman who's doing my slides at the moment, he's also working with Awareness Ties. This is how we've met. And I'm one of the ambassadors for bullying awareness. So I'm doing a lot of work with them behind the scenes on campaigns and things like this that are mattering, but also campaigns in the UK that I can bridge over to the US. So this company here are in the USA, I'm in the United Kingdom. So working online has been great because I've been able to do this. But again, it's very important that I'm showcasing that on the back of my title, on the back of the Miss Great Britain title, that I'm still working hard on making these changes. With or without a title, I would still be working very hard. And it's just amazing to have Awareness Ties on side and working with them. So watch the space with Awareness Ties. I will be doing some work with them very soon, which will be awesome. And yeah, hopefully if I ever come to your area or to anything, please let me know and I'll make sure I do another talk or whatnot there with you. Next slide, please. So this photo is part of the Awareness Ties campaign that I'm doing with them. One of the things I want to do is be that person I needed when I was a child, be that person that the younger me really needed, because there are people out there that need that person to say, actually, you're good enough as you are. And as I said before, with the mental health stigma that I have endured, it's so important to showcase that someone with mental health difficulties like me can live a normal life or live a life that we can be proud of, because so many opportunities have been taken from me because of my diagnosis. So many opportunities have been taken away because I've been told actually I'm not good enough to do what I can do. And that has really affected me, actually. That's affected my mental health. As I said before, I'm still in therapy doing trauma work for the things I endured as a child. And with that trauma work, I'm trying to go forward, not forget, because I don't think I'll ever forget it, but go forward and accept things and heal from them, because I deserve that. I deserve that healing. And part of that healing is to remind people that the kids today need somebody that can tell them that this is okay. I didn't have someone like that telling me at school that it's going to be all right, you're going to be fine. And if you are at school at the moment and you're watching this, everything is going to be fine. School is the start of your journey. It's not the end, it's the start. And you must remember that, because it is so hard as a young person to remember that. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. One of the quotes that came out of my Miss Great Britain stance: it's rebellious to be different. It is rebellious. If you're different, you keep being different. You keep being yourself. Don't think that you have to be like other people. Unique is beautiful, and I do pride myself on that. And I think as a society, we need to do more of that. Next slide, please. Thank you very much for listening today. I do appreciate your time. I do appreciate listening to me talking. I like to talk a lot. I like to talk a lot. Thank you very much. And if you have any questions, please do let us know.
Oh God, Celine, it was really wonderful to hear from your side of how beautifully you've placed an impact on the empowerment of women. I must say, it's actually something amazing.
Thank you.
I'd actually like to ask you something, and that is, what is the difference that you find between bipolar disorder and borderline disorder? Like,
So,
what differentiates like both of them?
okay, so bipolar is a chemical reaction in the brain. BPD is
Okay.
behavior. BPD is behavioral. So with BPD, we've learned the behaviors. BPD is like a trauma reaction. So bipolar is longer episodes. So if I had bipolar, I might be up more and down. Let's say, for example, a few months up, a few months down, with some mood swings, but more chronic, more not chronic, more moods, more up and down, more of a pattern. With BPD, if you imagine bipolar but fast forward, so
All right.
so one day I could be feeling really great, and then tomorrow I might wake up really annoyed and upset, and it's because something might have triggered me, or I might be feeling something that I can't explain, and that comes out in a reaction. So BPD, I don't know if I'll ever recover, but I know I can maybe learn to manage the symptoms, like anything, even physical. You can learn to manage the symptoms. You can learn to manage symptoms, and you can learn to go forward, and that's something I'm still learning to do myself. It's still learning to navigate that, because it's quite difficult to learn to do that by yourself. So I'm in the therapy to get that support, I guess.
Inshallah, one day you'll recover of the therapy you're going through. And one more thing, and that is, even now when we have arrived in the 21st century, people are still making fun of your mental health. They don't really prioritize like it should be.
No.
They think it's more like, they don't treat that as a disease. They think, okay, maybe because you're suffering from your mental health, you're crazy, you're going offside with everything that you're going through. And that what surprises me still now. I think people should take these things more seriously, so that they can help other people come out of their traumas, because like you said before, at the very, very beginning of the show, everybody has their own battle. They know what they're going through, and things might appear well and all perfect from the outside, but deep down inside, maybe things are not going that way.
Exactly, 100%. And I think that's something that celebrities maybe could do more work around. And I think they are doing some work with it, but I think the more people that talk about it, that are in the limelight, the more people that aren't in the limelight will understand that it's actually okay. And like you said, mental health is as serious as physical health. You know, it's the same entity. It should be treated the same. If I'm sick from work because I'm having a mental health day, it should be treated as if I'm unwell physically. So like I said, we do have a long way to go. We do. But these discussions and the things that you guys are doing is amazing, and please keep it up, because it is great to have these platforms to talk about these sort of things and help people understand a little bit more about mental health, especially complex mental health as well. I think that's important.
True. Well, can we open up our live sessions if there's any question?
I don't think I can see. You'll have to tell me if there's anything. I don't know if I can see anything. There's none.
Okay, it feels like nobody actually has any question regarding this.
That's fine. My name's there, so if anyone has anything later down the line or wants to follow my journey or wants to talk later on, they're more than welcome to do that. Absolutely no pressure at all to ask anything now. But thank you so much for your time. I do appreciate your time today, both of you. And yeah, hopefully we can meet today.
Okay, two more things before we wrap it up. Is there any sort of suggestion that you like to place for Team Bertho about the work they have been engaging themselves with around people like you, so that they can come up with their topics?
I think, could you repeat the question again? Sorry, I didn't understand the start. Sorry.
Oh, okay. I mean, is there any sort of suggestion that you'd like to place, or in general, what do you think about the organization through which you actually could place your topic in front of the viewers?
Yeah, I mean, I think that what like I said, what you're doing is very important, and I think there's a lot around mental health that could be discussed, and also women in different cultures as well. I don't know if you've done anything of that sort of caliber, but that would be cool as well to see more women in different cultures, different ethnicities coming on and talking about stuff. Because I think your platform is very important to have that voice. And where my work sits with you, I think it's part of the topic. It's part of the journey with what you guys are doing. It's part of that. I don't know if I've answered that question correctly, and if I haven't, my apologies.
Oh, no, that's perfectly fine. I think there were some comments coming up about what you think about Team Bertho. So I was
I think
supposed to ask this question out to you.
I think you guys are great. Like I said, I think you guys are really great, and you deserve all the success you've had. And it's an honor to be part of this platform, and it's an honor to be part of your team today to sit on this platform with you to talk about these matters, because we're doing the same thing. We're fighting the same battle, us guys, you know. And it's like I said, these conversations on all these platforms are important to have these conversations. And yeah, I've seen a few of your other interviews as well, and you're getting people on that are relevant and that are needed to be in the limelight to discuss these topics, because again, they're very taboo topics, they're very difficult topics for some people to address. And hearing someone who, like me, maybe talk about it, maybe will help someone else go, actually, it's okay to feel like I'm feeling, or it's okay to feel different, it's okay to be me. And I think that's what it's all about, you know.
Yeah. Well, so the topic for today's episode was mental health, right? So there's a phrase in Bengali which I'd want you to say for our audience so that it's actually a little more interactive. Are you okay with that?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Okay, it's actually a little long, so I'll break it down for you to make it easier for you. স্বাস্থ্য ভালো মন ভালো
Shasta ho malo
তবে সব ভালো
tobi shop halo
স্বাস্থ্যের খেয়াল না রাখলে
Shasta kien narai clay.
থাকবে না খুব ভালো
And again,
থাকবে না খুব ভালো.
tad benako palo. That
Okay,
is totally
so I'll
wrong.
translate it out to you. It basically says that if you don't take care of your mental health, you will not be well physically as well.
100%. I agree with that. I mean, you see so many people have mental health and then it goes into physical because it's all connected. Absolutely. I agree with that statement. It's a beautiful language as well. Beautiful. And I'm sorry if I didn't do it justice.
No, that was perfectly fine from you. And I was actually hoping if I could explain it out to you properly.
You did. Very beautiful. Beautifully explained. Thank you.
All right. So now we're at the end of this session and we'd like to wrap it up here. Thanks once again to Elle Seline for being the guest for our show. I'd like to wrap it up here. Bye, guys. See you next.